Good afternoon, everyone. It's me, Jordan Thomas, reporting live from Linden, New Jersey. Sorry, this is my first video in a while. This video, I will be discussing the Mets versus the Marlins game. The Mets lost the final game of the first half to the Colorado Rockies, which, you can't win every game. A 5-1 homestand is a good homestand. They could have swept the Rockies, but I'll take 5 out of 6 anytime. They went into the first half of the break 49-46, which a lot of us did not think would be possible after they was 22-33 as late as June 2nd. So it's good to see that they're playing better baseball and they're more competitive. But here's the caveat to that. You got to take advantage of teams that you should beat, like the Rockies. You should have swept them, and then the Marlins. The Marlins is a 4-game series. Yesterday, you couldn't have started the series any worse if you was a Met, like as a Met fan or just the Mets in general. You're playing a 4-game series against the Marlins, the worst team in our division and the worst team who has the worst record in baseball this year, and you go and lose 6-4. That's just not good. That's not a good start. And I know it's just the first game out of the second half, but you got to win these games, especially with the trade deadline coming up on July 30th. You have to keep winning games. You got to stay in this wild card race you're trying to stay in. And the way you do that is you beat the teams you're supposed to beat, like the Marlins. The Marlins, you're supposed to win these games. And Shamanaya, not a good outing for him yesterday. And he's been great lately, but yesterday he did not do good at all. 5 innings, 5 runs. He left too many pitches right in the middle of the plate. I mean, with any team, if you leave too many pitches right in the middle of the plate, you're going to get burned. But especially the Marlins, who traditionally swings at everything. So the way you neutralize them is you don't throw anything in the middle of the plate. You make it seem like a strike, but then you have the ball run outside the strike zone. So they're swinging. They can't reach the ball. Even though it's easier said than done, you want to try to keep the ball out of the strike zone as much as possible. And it just didn't go off for Singh. It didn't go off for Manaya yesterday. Before we knew it, in the 4th inning, we was down 4-0. We had an opportunity in the first with Alonso stepping up to the plate with 1st and 3rd, 1 out, and Alonso grounded into a double play to end the inning. I know it's just the first inning, but that was not a good feel when he grounded into that double play, because when you're playing against sub 500 teams, you have to put them away as early as possible. You don't want to give them any momentum. You want to quest their confidence right away and take over the game. But the Mets did not do that. They gave them momentum. They let Marlins grab the lead. And that's when things get tough. When you allow sub 500 teams to grab the lead on you, that's when they feel confident. They're pesky. So you can't overlook anyone. So you have to come out swinging. And the Mets tried to come back. I mean, Jeff McNeil had 2 home runs in the game, which could be helpful down the stretch. And the Mets got to within 1. But the problem came in the 8th inning when we couldn't get the Marlins out with 2 outs. And Danny Young came in to relieve Adam Ottavino, who couldn't get the last out. And Suarez hit a base hit to extend the Marlins lead to 6-4. That made it tough, especially going against a tough Marlins closer. And as a result, we lost the first game of the 4-game series, which is never a good way to start. You always want to win the first game of a series because it sets the trend and it makes things easier on you now. Now, for the Mets, they have to win at least 2 of the next 3 to at least split the series, and you have to win the next 3 to win the series. As opposed to if you would have won the first game, you would only have to win 2 more games to win the series and only win 1 more to at least secure that you won't lose the series. So that's just a bad start. But the Mets, at least they're 2 games of over 500 and they're playing better baseball. But they gotta snap this 2-game losing streak today with Luis Severino pitching for the Mets. Today's an important game. Every game from now on is an important game. They have to play like it's the playoff. Every game is like the playoff for you guys. You have to treat it that way because we're like the last 2 2 months left in the season. You got to take advantage of the team that's on your schedule, like the Marlins, but you also got to try to beat some of the good teams also. And hopefully the Mets could do that, honestly, and not take these games lightly. Today is a huge game. They got to win this game. Get to 50 wins and keep your spot in the wild card. Every game is important. So hopefully the Mets could rebound from yesterday's loss and win this game, even up the series. They can't afford to lose the first two against the Marlins because it's a big week. They play the Marlins for 4 and they play the Yankees at Yankee Stadium for 2 games. So it's important that they at least finish this road trip 3-3 or 4-2. We can't go no less than that. It is too important, and hopefully they keep winning. But anyway, I just want to say thank you everyone for tuning into my video. It's me, Jordan Thomas, saying have a good afternoon, everyone, and let's go Mets.